I'm going to go to Michael. We're just going to fix up the audio on Keith Mays. Michael, when you talk about Minneapolis, we can draw any picture of any city anywhere in America, but if you talk about Minneapolis, the proportion of African Americans who are arrested higher than normal, the proportion of African Americans who die in violence higher than normal, the proportion of African American wealth compared to white wealth is lower than normal. These are exaggerated trends in Minneapolis, but they are common trends across America. And as I talk to protesters, I really hear two very specific complaints. One about this incident and the policing, one that's a little more broad about policing and African Americans, but fundamentally a separate one to say the injustice is too much. The knee on the neck of the African American man is really the symbolism here.
Yeah, I mean, what you're seeing, and I mean, this is what the crux of an uprising is it's not that it's just one incident, it's not one issue. It is an attack on the system, it's confrontation with an entire system. And so when we're talking about sort of like the burning of a police station and the looting of these different businesses and what have you, what you're witnessing is the attack on surveillance, you're witnessing the attack on the economic exploitation, right? Like all of these things come to the fore. And I think you also have to just then, when we're examining this and asking for what comes next, the arrest of the officers is one thing. But really, if we're looking at what the police are doing right in this moment, right, they have killed a man, they've killed many black people, they keep arresting black people throughout this pandemic, and then they squelch protests. This is exactly what police officers were intended to do from their inception, and that's what they've continued to do throughout their history. And so that is their function. That is what they do. And so we're talking about solutions. We can't just expect the very system that is responsible for the deaths of these folks to then rectify itself and to hold itself accountable. Any mayor, any city council person who is right now on television and not talking about defunding police, I mean, they're in derelict of their duty to protect people right now. We're talking about the fact that, like, in the midst of this pandemic, we've seen what is essential to the safety and health of people. And police officers have been in defiance of that, right? Like, they have not protected and served the way that we are told that they're supposed to do. What people need, generally speaking, more broadly, they need safe housing. They need health care, they need education, they need food. And these are the things that city budgets needs to be providing for people right now. And yet most city budgets, police are disproportionately funded. And so if you are not right now talking about defunding the police and ensuring that they don't have the tools to be able to go out there and kill with impunity, then what you're saying is you do not care about the platitudes that you have spouted off about Black Lives Matter.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Michael Denzel Smith is a contributing writer to The Nation, is the author of Invisible Man. Keith Mays is a professor of African-American studies right here at the University of Minnesota. I want to show you some pictures of Brooklyn, New York right now, where there's been a lot of activity. It's been going on actually for a few hours, but police are warning that there is, let me just tell you a bit about what's going on in Brooklyn. People are walking through traffic on the Brooklyn Bridge right now. There has been an NYPD vehicle that is driven through a protester barricade on Flatbush Avenue at Grand Army Plaza. So there's a lot going on there. Let me just tell you again before I take a quick break what's happening here. This is the 5th Precinct Police Station. There are thousands of people gathered around here. The curfew here goes into effect in about 40 minutes. Now, last night, it was fully 15 minutes before the curfew began that police started warning everybody about it, and then tear gas was fired well before the curfew began. They were warned that they would be arrested if they did not move. They did not move. The protesters then walked the police back for miles and ended up taking back the 3rd Precinct Police Station. Looks like the attention tonight is on the 5th Precinct Police Station. We're going to keep a very close eye on this. Our coverage of the protests, not here in Minneapolis, but across all of America, continues when we come back. One last point before I go. This is an entirely peaceful process.